gone to war. All through the streets, see the face of fear on everyone you meet. They come on the street, they give their lives. We are the people. They won't take us alive. Mutilation, torture, murder, genocide, mechanics of death. All through the sky, a new heaven awaits. And after life of this, we must stand strong. We must resist. They come on the street, they spill their lives. We are the people, they want to take us
Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, cuckolds of all ages, it's time for Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles, and it is Friday, May 23rd, 2025. It is Memorial Day weekend, folks, and I am going to be out of town for most of the weekend. I should be back in time to do a Sunday night exclusive stream. Probably going to be doing a documentary watch just because, again, there's not going to be a lot of time to do in-depth research like I do for this show. So come on back for that. Oh, look, my hair's all wacky all of a sudden. It was looking fine a minute ago. All right. So welcome, folks. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff today on the show. Oh my lord, it has been a long week since we've last talked. And a lot of things have happened. I had some other news stories together, and, things fall off, things jump on. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, and I may wind up doing a little more on the spot show prep. If I run out of things to talk about, I'll bring some of the other stuff back. How about that? Let's start off. Let's get into the Minnesota Supreme Court, folks. as to go from my show outline here, because 3 hours worth of links is too much for my browser to handle. So I've got to put it all in a show prep file now. All right, let's do this. Let's get into the Minnesota Supreme Court because, Minnesota. The next story, the first story here, is going to be a double-edged sword, and all the fellas out there are going to see this and be like, "Woohoo!" And then, yeah, you got to really take a second to stop and think about what this means, and think about the state of Minnesota and the type of women you might see in the state of Minnesota. Because the Minnesota Supreme Court has now ruled that exposed female breasts are not lewd or inherently sexual, and therefore can be exposed in public. This is from Jeff Day of the Minnesota Star Tribune. Wait, I had this open before without the damn paywall. Why is it giving me a paywall now? Hang on. To the archive. All right. We'll do this the hard way. Oh, I guess this was all the way back on May 5th. Shit. Cheers, Great Liquor. Good seeing you in the chat over on Rumble. Welcome, welcome. Good having you by. So I guess this was all the way back on May 5th. Why am I just hearing about this now? Police officers in Rochester were called to the Quick Trip parking lot in July 2021 because Eloisa Plancarte had her shirt pulled up revealing her breasts. Well, anyway, I guess I'm going to go ahead and... Cops approached her. They asked why her breasts were out. She told them she was a stripper at a biker bar and that all Catholic girls do it. She was placed under arrest and charged with misdemeanor indecent exposure for willfully and lewdly exposing private parts. Well, she argued that her breasts are not private parts, and even if they were, there was nothing lewd, and the Supreme Court has ruled in her favor. Again, I can't believe this is all the way back on May 5th. I'm sorry. I should have paid more attention to that, folks. Well, now I'm gonna search for Eloisa Plancarte. Oh God. So yeah, this is the person who had her breast exposed to the police. So again, you might think, woohoo, Minnesota, yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we don't need that. Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm a little late to that story. Let's continue. This next story is from NPR. So you know it's not going to be biased at all. You know, government-run media, government-funded media, definitely not going to have a left-wing bias in this next NPR article. As we go, now we've talked a little bit about the issues of the last couple of years with plane crashes and some of the problems we've had with airplane manufacturers. Well, the Department of Justice, good old Pam Bondi. Hey, we have Fruck over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome. Good seeing you in the chat. Always nice having folks stop by. Good having you by. I agreed, not lewd. If a mother breastfeed in public, will she be arrested? Well, I don't think breastfeeding inherently is lewd. Doing it for provocative nature, as I'm assuming the lady flashing her breast to the cop was doing, I think that's a different scenario than breastfeeding your kids. And then Still Not Banned Here says, hey, naked lady, cheers and welcome to Still Not Banned Here. Good having you by. And you know what? I'm failing in my duties as a show host. Let's do a couple of... I guess I'll do this one for Still Not Banned Here.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
All right. Yeah. What do you mean, you people? You people with breasts. You people with breasts showing them to police and then getting the Supreme Court to side with you. And then this one's for fraud.
You are fake news.
I'm just kidding there. And then let's see. Let's give boom, 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 boom. Oh my gosh. I have uploaded some of these 2 or 3 times. I'll give old Great Liquor a Lord, it's a damn
Lord,
shame.
it's a damn shame.
And then we got Rusty Rivers in the chat. I'm going to give you a good little fart here. There we go. Cheers and welcome to Rusty Rivers. Good having you by. All right. All right. So, yes, good old Pam Bondi doing a deal. Oh, wait. I keep hitting the wrong damn. Good old Pam Bondi doing a deal with Boeing here to drop the prosecution over deadly 737 crashes. Department of Justice told a federal judge on Friday that it had reached an agreement in principle with Boeing to drop a criminal case over 2 fatal crashes of 737 MAX jets, despite objections from family members of crash victims. Latest turn in a long-running legal saga following fatal crashes of 2 737 MAX jets in 2018 and 19 that killed 346 people. The Justice Department reached a deferred prosecution agreement with Boeing in 2021 during the first Trump administration, but prosecutors changed course under Biden, reviving the criminal case against the aerospace giant. Boeing agreed last year to plead guilty to defrauding regulators, but a federal judge rejected that proposed plea deal. And now the Justice Department has reached another agreement that would allow Boeing to avoid criminal prosecution. Let's see. Fruck says it's only our perversion that's lewd. Breasts have no part in sex. I would completely disagree with that. I've had quite a bit of lewd fun with the female reproductive anatomy that involved in food. And then Rusty River says you missed Fruck. Did I? I thought I gave Fruck a. Okay, here, let me give Fruck a give you the Zelda chest here. Cheers and welcome. All right. All right. So, in a court filing, DOJ lawyers called the agreement a fair and just resolution that serves the public. The deal guarantees further accountability and substantial benefits from Boeing immediately while avoiding the uncertainty and litigation risk presented by proceeding to trial, they wrote. The DOJ said it laid out terms of the latest deal in a meeting with family members and victims and lawyers this week. Some of those family members supported the deal, according to the filing. Go away, I'm not supporting NPR. Lawyers for family members say they're outraged. With this filing, the DOJ walks away from any pretense to seek justice for the victims of MAX crashes, said Javier De Luis, an aerospace engineer and lecturer at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology who lost his sister in the second crash. In spite of the mountains of reports and investigations documenting wrongdoing by Boeing, DOJ is claiming that they cannot prove that anybody did anything wrong. The message being sent by this action to companies around the country is don't worry about making your products safe for your customers, De Luis said in a statement. Fruck says, I can hump my wife's left hand. Does she need to hide it now? Okay, so you want to have this debate. Well, we have Billdozer74, friend of the chat, friend of the channel. Cheers and welcome to Billdozer74. Billdozer, feel free to go ahead and throw your link in the chat. Billdozer's going to be, you're going to be live later tonight, right? Or no, you're going to be live over on Third Railify's channel, aren't you? So yeah, but feel free to throw Billdozer's link in the chat, somebody, and definitely check out Billdozer and go ahead and throw your schedule in the chat too. Fruck says, "Look, it's Friday and I want to keep talking about breasts." Okay, look, I'm not saying I'm not supportive of exposed breasts. Let me just be completely honest. And yes, just because women's hands can be performing lewd acts, it's not the engorgement or appearance of engorgement of a hand. Hands don't get erect. Hands don't uh, cause production. They don't change color. They don't. There's lots of things that you can do to a breast that's just a little different than a hand, right? And you don't need your breasts to like chop vegetables. Like if you needed your breasts to chop vegetables, if you could use your breasts for daily tasks. Now, granted, there's the feeding the babies and there's all this other stuff, but let's be honest. You feed the baby, you tuck it back away. Just like your gun, you use it when you need to use it and you tuck it back away. I take a piss with my penis. That doesn't mean it's a tool. Tits don't cause production. I think you mean reproduction. I mean, no, not necessarily. It's not directly related to the reproduction, but it is definitely in our culture. It has become a sex symbol. Just like the butt. Like the butt, nobody wants to see your poopy wipe stains, right? But the butt is a sexualized organ. We don't expose our butt. I'm sure there are ways. Now, granted, there's some people that do, but there are ways in which you could cover up your genitalia without covering up your butt. But we still cover up the butt because it's generally seen as uncouth. It's generally seen as lewd to expose the buttocks. Oh, Bill Dozer's got last night's show over in the chat. So there we go. There we go. Head over to Rumble if you're on YouTube, which it doesn't look like we have any YouTube viewers right now. Yes, it is. There you go, Fruck. That's exactly my point. It's exactly how society perceives things. And quite frankly, I think while we are always on a mission to change society for the better, there are some ways in which you will never radically change society. And I think that at least for men, we have this genetic predisposition to see breasts as sexual, whether whether we want to or not. I think there is a predisposition in men to see it that way, and I don't think you're going to socially construct that out of our what do you call it, evolution. Bill Dozer says, I've heard that a decent amount of suckling upon a woman's nipple can promote cardiovascular health. Yes, this is true. As well as a woman providing oral sex to men can do the same. I'm not quite sure about oral sex to women. I think that might be the case, but I haven't seen the study on that. Ask a commie, they know how to change society little by little. Which is the problem. That exactly my point. That is the problem. As we continue to lose the idea of modesty, for example, such as breasts, as we start to lose the value of modesty in our society, it is this incremental downward spiral to hell. So, I mean, I would firmly agree with you. Okay, so let's get back into this Boeing thing. Under this deal, Boeing will pay or invest more than $1.1 billion, according to the DOJ, including $445 million for a victims fund and $240 million criminal fine. Boeing would admit to conspiracy to instruct and impede the lawful operation of regulators at the FAA, according to the DOJ filing, and the company would retain an independent compliance consultant that will report its findings to the government. The department has met extensively with crash victims' families. While they're all experiencing grief, they hold a broad set of views regarding the resolution, ranging from support to disagreement, a Justice Department spokesperson said. Nothing will diminish the victims' losses, but the resolution holds Boeing financially accountable, provides finality and compensation for the families, and makes an impact for the safety of future travelers. Boeing declined to comment. Under the plea agreement announced last year, Boeing had agreed to plead guilty to a single count of conspiracy to defraud regulators about the safety of its planes, but federal judge Reed O'Connor in Texas objected to the framework, and Boeing and the Justice Department crafted to select an independent monitor, insisting the court should play a bigger role in selecting that monitor. A lawyer for the family said they would urge Judge O'Connor to reject this agreement as well. This kind of non prosecution deal is unprecedented and obviously wrong for the deadliest corporate crime in U.S. history, said Paul Castle, professor at the University of Utah. Yeah, they always got to get. Bruck says, I think Rusty's a commie, by the way. Rusty says the Unga Bunga tribes don't care about titties. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of part of the back to what I was saying, and probably why Fruck thinks you're a commie. But yes, they always get to some law professor or law student at some university to disagree with the government. They always got to do that in these articles. Former federal judge representing the victims of the families of the victims for free. Okay, so this is the family's lawyer, actually. My families will object and hope to convince the court to reject it. Well, I don't think it's completely unprecedented. I mean, they're paying a fine. There's some form of restitution in creating a victims fund. I don't like the fact that it like there's not more of a criminal justice element to this. Like, okay, who gave the order and why? Who was doing the deals with the FAA and why? Was this directed by your board members? Again, I'm of two minds about it. I hate to see the DOJ go light on these companies who, let's face it, we're hiring on DEI, not providing a safe product. All the above, cutting corners, and apparently colluding with FAA officials to avoid it, avoid being caught for it. Okay, so let's get back into a news story we covered last week. We covered this jailbreak in New Orleans. Let's go ahead and get into that. So here's WDSU with breaking news on an update in the New Orleans jailbreak case, and we'll go ahead and listen to that.
Breaking news here as it relates to the massive escape at the Orleans Parish Jail, with someone else inside the jail now facing charges for allegedly helping the 10 inmates break free. Yeah, the inmate.
So we now have an 11th inmate that was helping the other 10 escape, and now he's being charged.
Trevon Williams was already in jail on unrelated charges when he was rebooked for 10 counts of principal to simple escape. This comes as multiple agencies are still pinpointing others who may have helped while trying to track down those remaining 5 inmates. Breaking news.
So you may have heard her say remaining 5 inmates. So apparently they've caught 5 of them now, and the remaining 5 remain on the lam. Okay, so this is basically the same thing the video said. So there we go. We have an update. We have 5 inmates caught, 5 still on the lam, and an unrelated man jailed for helping, or basically charged with helping them out. Earlier this week in Washington, D.C., we had Rusty Roo says Sean Payton got out. Yeah. Earlier this week in Washington, D.C., we had a tragedy happen, quote unquote tragedy. And let's go ahead and go to the videotape provided to us by New York Post.
two Israeli embassy staffers outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., has ties to a radical left-wing group that spearheaded Black Lives Matter protests.
Okay, the first word got cut off there.
The
Let me try.
suspected terrorist accused of fatally shooting two Israeli embassy staffers outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., has ties to a radical left-wing group that spearheaded Black Lives Matter protests and openly supports the Palestinian cause. Elias Rodriguez, 31, allegedly confessed to the murder and was heard chanting "Free, Free Palestine" as he fired his weapon into the victim's
Seems like a nice guy, right?
Night. Investigators are now digging into his background to understand the motivation behind the deadly attack.
I mean, do we need much of a dig? I mean, if he's part of these, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. These commie protest organizations that just jump on the latest cause and take to the streets outraged. I think it's pretty obvious what the motives here are. But let's continue.
Rodriguez had previously been associated with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, a far-left organization.
Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Known for pushing anti-Israel rhetoric. On Wednesday, just hours before the shooting, the group posted online, "End the genocide. Israel."
Okay, sign the pledge against genocide. We're going to be using the word genocide quite a few times in the show today, by the way. A new campaign launched by Palestinians in the diaspora and in the region is aiming to gather 1 million signatures to show the massive opposition that exists around the world to U.S.-Israeli massacre in Gaza. Sign the pledge here. All right.
Israel out of Gaza now. While the PSL confirmed Rodriguez had been affiliated with a local branch, they claim his association ended in 2017 and stressed they have had no contact with him since.
Okay. We reject any attempt to associate the PSL with the DC shooting. Elias Rodriguez is not a member of the PSL. Brief association with one branch of the PSL that ended in 2017. We know of no contact with him in over 7 years. We have nothing to do with this shooting and do not support it. Please don't come burn our house down.
We have nothing to do with this shooting and do not support it, the group stated on X early Thursday. Rodriguez had been previously profiled in a now deleted article from the group's website, which described his involvement in a 2017 Black Lives Matter protest outside the home of then Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Oh, imagine
the protest marked the anniversary.
Wonder what nationality Rahm Emanuel is. I'm just kidding. I already know. Bill Dozer says, seems like he hates Israel and wanted to kill anyone associated with them. Disgusting. The dude who tried to hand him his keffiyeh and the guy in the suit was interesting, though. Seemed like handlers, perhaps. Maybe. So I barely caught some of this story just in the peripheral over the past few days, and this is like my first time actually engaging with this story. Bill Dozer says not necessarily false flag, but could have been inspired by Fed Boys. And that's kind of the direction I was about to take this. A little later in the program, we're going to be talking about the Department of Justice and labeling certain people as domestic extremists. And I find it funny because this is kind of one of the big things that kind of launched my activism career, so to speak, was when Missouri put out their MIAC report. If anybody who was in conservative circles in 2019 probably ran across the story, or not 2019, 2009. Anybody who was in conservative circles back in 2009 probably ran across the story. And one of the things I continuously tell people is, that was one of like 9 reports that came out in that couple year period of time. And the federal government was listing a lot of people as extremists. And I found the militia movement one. That was the one basically labeling almost every conservative viewpoint as potentially a a sign of terrorism. Being pro-life, having a "Don't Tread on Me" flag, uh, having a Ron Paul bumper sticker. There were lots of things in that right-wing militia report telling people that these people were dangerous and might start, pew-pewing at cops. There were lots of things in that report that being a conservative, I was like, I don't know anybody like that who would pew-pew at cops unless cops are trying to pull a Randy Weaver on them, Bill Dozer says it's all fresh. Claiming to know for sure anyone claiming to know for sure may need to take a breath. And we got Shut Up I Can Cook. By the way, I owe Bill Dozer a sound effect, and now we have Cookie in the chat. Shut Up I Can Cook over on YouTube. Bill Dozer, why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
There we go. I'm just kidding. All right, and then let's see, what do we got? We got Cookie. Cookie's got the emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
There we go. Everybody gets a sound effect on Mild's Culture Plate. Cheers and welcome. Cheers and welcome to Shut Up I Can Cook. Good seeing you in the chat, my lady. But anyway, I've given this talk before on this channel, and I'm not going to delve too much deeper into it. But as I sat and I read through these other reports, not the right-wing one, but there was one on the anarchist movement in America, and it gave like the history of Black Bloc, and it gave sort of a framing of some of these symbols, and talked about, this black fist that we've been seeing. And mind you, this was in 2009. It was saying that these people would create these anti-government violent organizations, and I didn't think much of it, but at the time I was like, okay, so they're targeting right-wingers, they're targeting left-wingers, they're targeting environmental activists, they were targeting Muslim recruiting in prisons, which, is a problem. And they were also, there was also one of these reports on Norse mythology. Norse mythology as a white supremacist movement. And it was a fascinating read. Anyway, feel free to look more into that. But shortly after that, the Missouri reports got completely drowned out because of course the federal counterterrorism task force and the Homeland Security were releasing their own reports that were just as bad. So anyway, we got Bill Dozer giving us the otter, yeah. All right, and then Fruck says it's the Jews who aren't Jews. All right, let's get back into more about this individual who decided to shoot 2 Israeli diplomats in Washington, D.C.
Of Laquan McDonald's death, a 17-year-old black teen killed by a Chicago
hang on.
police
Let's
officer.
go back a little bit.
This marked inside the home of then Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. The protest marked the anniversary of Laquan McDonald's death, a 17-year-old black teen killed by a Chicago police officer. That protest.
Oh no, you don't say. You don't say. They were protesting about the death of an African American shot by cops. Wow.
Rodriguez targeted Amazon, calling out the company for contributing to structural racism and the gentrification of urban cities. Rodriguez's LinkedIn profile indicates he worked as an oral history researcher at the History Makers, a nonprofit dedicated to documenting African American history. His profile, removed, noted that he held a bachelor's degree in English from the University of Illinois at Chicago and had a background in writing for tech companies.
A bachelor's degree in English, and decided to write for tech companies. Cookie says, yeah, the Obama admin shut down a man reading the Constitution dressed like the founders. Yeah. And who was that? Oh, dear Lord. Was that they arrested people for dancing at the Jefferson Memorial? There were police officers who were caught on tape, basically harassing a man because he was holding a pocket constitution and saying, what are you, some kind of extremist? So yeah, these things do reverberate. Anyway, so yeah, this dude obviously, writing for tech companies. He's an English major, got a bachelor's, obviously someone who spends a lot of time on computers and not so much in the real world.
Early Thursday, Rodriguez was being questioned by the FBI and Metropolitan Police as investigators pieced together his history and motives. Witnesses saw him pacing.
And this guy, look at this guy. Just look at him. Just look at him. This guy is so concerned with Black history. What is going on with my camera? Okay, not sure what's going on with my camera, but we'll keep playing for a minute.
The museum in the moments before the shooting, describing him as distressed. Some even brought him water, mistaking his nervous energy for need, never realizing he was moments away from opening fire. When officers arrived, Rodriguez brandished a red keffiyeh and began shouting, "Free Palestine," before being taken into custody. The attack, which took the lives of Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram, has sent shockwaves through the diplomatic community and renewed fears over anti-Semitic violence tied to escalating global tensions.
Oh, shit. Let me go ahead and stop that. All right, okay, I need to reboot Rumble Studio, apparently. Rumble Studio's taking a dump on me. Cookie says testing YouTube. Still not banned here. They immediately spun it as a Jewish hate crime just as they had pre-planned. Yep. Those two were executed for death penalty treason trial bond violation. What? Are you talking about the two victims of that alleged shooting? That's a man in a waist trainer too. Oh, you talking about these NYPD guards posted outside a synagogue? Yeah, what is this story? Okay, this must be a follow-up to that. Anyway, the story will just continue. Yeah, I'm going to reboot Rumble Studio real fast, about 2 seconds here. Hey, there I am. All right. That's a man in a waist trainer too. Okay, so yeah, the chat, I lost the chats on the screen. We'll have to repopulate it so everyone come in and say hi again. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to say hi again. All right, so there we go. We have this obvious propaganda shooting because they always have to keep anti-Semitism in the news, regardless of where it comes from. Yeah, we do have to keep anti-Semitism in the news. Oh, Cookie says, do not need any more immigrants unless it's Einstein. Why would you want an immigrant Einstein? Still not banned here. Gives a smiley face. I don't know about the Einstein thing. Like, I think there's room for hard workers, and I think there's room for people who are, legitimate refugees. Like, we're going to get into the South Africa story here in a little bit. Bulldozer says low. What's low? Is my audio low? Check 1 2. I seem to be loud as hell in my own ears. Check 1 2. There we go. Crank up the reverb a little bit. See if that helps. Does that help any? Hey, we got Sanglan86 in the chat. Cheers and welcome. Gonna go ahead and give you the refrigerators.
I love refrigerators.
Refrigerators. Oh, okay. Bulldozer just responding to the high with the low. Okay, well then let me kill my reverb then. There we go. All right. Although not sure why I still sound even louder in my own ears. Now you're in Bill's Hall. And Great Liquor giving Sanglant a cheers. Cookie says Einstein helped develop the bomb that stopped Japan during World War II. Did it though? Did it though? Or did Einstein help Japan become a furry nightmare of a country? So a lot of streamers this week have been talking about our good friends at the FBI. And rightly so. And I'm sure you've seen this video going around. I figured I'd give my take on it here. Let's go ahead and do this. Here's our good former Rumble creator, Dan Bongino, to talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it.
Okay, so there's Rumble host Dan Bongino back in the day. Cookie says, move on, people. No, I will move on when people get arrested. I will move on when we are told that these people are being sent to prison for the rest of their lives for raping and murdering, because that's kind of what's been happening. Cookie wants me to move migrants into my house. No, I mean legitimately, if they're coming here to work, they can work. They can get their green card. They can work, or their gold card now. Trump rolled out the gold card this week. Still not banned here. It's annoying how this story is all over MSM and smaller outlets. You talking about the previous story or the one I'm covering now? And Bill Dozer said, we don't need to drop those bombs. They mutilated their sexual proclivities. Yeah, now they're having sex with furries and anime waifu pillows. So yeah, I agree with former Rumbler Dan Bongino there. But that's my entire point. Is we need. Ooh, Fruck giving a pedoempire.org/contents. Yeah, still not banned here. Says everyone move into Mild's house. Yeah, when I win the lottery and I start my sex cult, definitely Cookie and still not banned here, and a lot of y'all in the chat. Feel free to come worship at the altar of love and harmony. We do not need them mild. Do you people not understand? No, but I'm also enough of a liberal, enough of a hippie that I think if somebody's going to come and going to be a productive member of society, I'm not I'm not opposed to being neighbors, but they better be productive. They better be a productive member of society. And they better be neighborly. Anyway, so let's get back to Dan Bongino, because now that he works for the government, he's got a little bit different of a tune.
Outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Okay. So whether or not, you could say that that's not a pivot, that he's not slipping. There's another clip of Bongino's like, do not let this story go away. Keep hammering. There's no way he killed himself. And so, I'm adding my voice to the number of creators who've covered this story this week. Dan Bongino, what the fuck happened, man? I don't need the truth about what happened in that prison that night. There's enough for me to say it fucking stinks. You're not going to give us the truth about what happened to the cameras, what happened to the guards falling asleep. You're not going to give us the truth. Oh, this. He goes on in that clip to say, it's textbook suicide. It's textbook suicide. Open and shut. Yeah. We saw, again, other fellow Rumble creator, Steven Crowder, try to hang himself with those paper sheets. You want us to believe that Jeffrey Epstein hung himself 4 feet with some makeshift sheets. Hey, we got great liquor. Or is that Rusty Rivers fucking with me? No, that is not Rusty Rivers fucking with me. Great Liquor has actually gifted a membership. Oh, you know what that means. You get the let's see. Let's do this here. Boom, you get the sponsorship banner, bro. You get the sponsorship banner at the bottom of the screen. There we go. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So, you could give me all the lies you want to about what happened that night. But you were just saying in that other clip that Epstein had the files. He had his black book. He had video. He had photos. He had clients. Ghislaine Maxwell is sitting in prison for sex trafficking. Well, we know Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein weren't the only 2 people having sex with those victims. Cookie says, Mild, we're going to deport you 2 to El Salvador or Vin or Rwanda. Rwanda? Why would I want to go to Rwanda? Why would they deport me to Rwanda? Look at my skin color. Do I belong in El Salvador or Rwanda? The hell you smoking, girl? So I'm just going to, and Kash Patel came out and gave a similar statement, and I'm just going to say, fuck you. Fuck you both. And of course, this image is going around. Gotta love this image going around. The lizards got to him, y'all. Fruck says they were Jewish, right? Epstein. Oh, well, Maxwell, definitely. And I'm pretty sure Epstein, there's Steen in the name. Yeah. But who were their clients? We've got Bill Gates went through a divorce over the Epstein stuff. Rusty River says 2 different Bonginos, one a free thinker, the other's part of a machine. There's more there. I mean, he's been part of the machine before, and so has Kash Patel. But, we have people within the MAGA movement who have vouched for these 2 gentlemen. We've been hearing Bongino saying wonderful things on television and radio and live streams for years now. Things that have needed to be said. And again, we have trusted these two and Pam Bondi to get to the bottom of Epstein, to get to the bottom of the Butler assassination attempt. And for me, I mean, Kash Patel said he was going to release the 9/11 files, the unredacted 9/11 commission, the 17 pages or whatever. Still haven't seen those. Donald Trump has promised us JFK. We've gotten a little JFK stuff. We've gotten a little Martin Luther King Jr. stuff. And we've gotten a little bit of Bobby Kennedy stuff, even though it still points the finger at Sirhan, which is ridiculous. Cookie still wants to talk about immigration here. Anybody supporting mass immigration to the USA will also be deported, go to Rwanda, El Salvador, or South Africa. You want me to be murdered in South Africa, Cookie? Of course, here's another AI. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. So yeah, I just gotta say, screw you, Kash Patel. Screw you, Dan Bongino. I think you guys are gonna have to start trying to work to earn our trust back. You guys were supposed to drain the FBI swamp, and you became swamp creatures. Still not banned here. We already did a Love Don't Judge featuring a breast milk drinking couple. Really? Did we? Yeah, I think we did, didn't we? Things that need to be said. Drink more breast milk. Yes, Fruck. Cookie wants me to move on. Okay, we'll move on. Every once in a while, on my timeline, we'll have some interesting information uncovered by journalist Michael Schellenberger. And, the last few weeks we've been hearing a lot of news stories about Joe Biden, and we're going to be breaking down a bunch of the Joe Biden stuff. Saying it says, Sirhan. Rusty River says, what happened to Sidney Powell, Patrick Byrne, and Mike Flynn? Yeah. Yeah, they also got the briefing, so to speak. Cookie doesn't want to press 1 for English. Okay. So Michael Schellenberger did this breakdown of some new information about the Biden administration. I kind of teased this earlier. Let's see. The idea that the Biden administration viewed millions of Americans as a terrorist threat sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's not. Newly declassified documents show that in December of 2021, the FBI and Homeland Security labeled opponents of COVID mandates, quote, domestic violent extremists. Then he goes on. Oh, here's the full. Wait, what is this? Biden administration labeled Americans who posed, according to newly classified intelligence records obtained by Public and Catherine Herridge reports. The designation created an articulable purpose for FBI and other government agents to open an assessment of individuals, which is often the first step toward a formal investigation, said a former FBI agent. The report, which the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has declassified, claims that anti-government or anti-authority violent extremists, specifically militias, wow, where have we heard that before? Oh, I was just talking about that like 20 minutes ago. Characterize COVID-19 vaccination and mask mandates as evidence of government overreach. A sweeping range of COVID narratives, the report states, quote, have resonated with DVEs, quote, motivated by QAnon. Motivated by QAnon. Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing how far we've come since December of 2021. The FBI, the DHS, and the National Counterterrorism Center co-authored the December 13th, 2021 intelligence report, whose title reads, DVEs and foreign analogs may react violently to COVID-19 mitigation mandates. The report cites the criticism of mandates as, quote, prominent narratives related to violent extremism. These narratives, quote, include the belief that COVID-19 vaccines are unsafe, especially for children, are part of a government or global conspiracy to deprive individuals of their civil liberties and livelihoods, or are designed to start a new social or political order. Quote, it's a way they could go into social media companies and say, you don't want to propagate domestic terrorism, so you should take down this content, said former FBI agent Steve Friend. And then I guess this is on public. Okay, and then here we have the article. Basically, they've already kind of quoted everything. Document 1, here's document 2. DVEs carried out at least 4 fatal attacks in 2021, the same number as 2020, killing 13 people, according to preliminary analysis of FBI investigative information. The number of pending FBI terrorism investigations have more than doubled in 2021, from about 1,400 to 2,900, in part because of cases related to the siege of the Capitol on January 6th. Adhering to different ideologies but motivated by perceptions of fraud in the 2020 general election were arrested in 2021. Okay, so this is all about January 6th people being a violent domestic threat. What's this next one? Some DVEs have encouraged the continued vetting of associates and the use of alternative low-tech communication in response to government attempts to entrap them, according to FBI reporting. The Texas-based MVE posted a warning in January 2021 to a website advising, quote, patriots to, quote, beware of false flags and traps that are now being set. Be careful who you listen to and what events you attend, and expect attempts to lure you into enemy-controlled ground. Holy shit. Cookie says we need people like Bannon and Stephen Miller. I had a Stephen Miller clip, but I decided not to put it in the show tonight. Rusty Rivers wants Fruck's milk. Sanglant says nobody got the conspiracy theory reference. That's disappointing. What? Sirhan? You talking about that one? I mean, does this seem like the government's butthurt that we were on to them? 2022 midterm election will probably cause DVEs to target political candidates, offices, or election events, or workers based on their real or perceived political affiliations. Several DVEs, motivated in part by perceptions of fraud in the general election, were arrested in 2021 for making plans to attack federal, state, and local officials. Immigration-related developments may spur DVEs to conduct planned or opportunistic violence. Immigration issues at the southwestern border prompted some racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists to visit or discuss patrolling the border, which has resulted in criminal activity in the past. And probable anarchist violent extremists have responded to government action by vandalizing and setting fire to a federal building containing immigration and customs enforcement officials in Portland. So again, they're mixing up, quote, left-wing and, quote, right-wing violence here. It says diverse socio-political factors amplifying persistent extremist threat. That's the name of the thing here. So here we go. FBI is investigating approximately 2,950 domestic terrorism-related cases, 61% of which are related to the January 6th siege of the Capitol. Size and complexity of the Capitol siege-related investigations have required the Department of Justice to include the FBI to surge resources, investigate and prosecute siege participants, while maintaining an agile security posture to address domestic terrorism threats. So allegedly, we had two. Now I want to look into these. March 16th, 2021, Georgia shooting. I'm going down a rabbit hole, folks. Oh, hey, Cookie shared my stream on X. Okay, so let's do this. 8 people were killed and a 9th was wounded. 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long was taken into custody. Told police he was motivated by sexual addiction that was at odds with his Christianity, for which he'd spent time at an evangelical treatment clinic, and that he'd been targeting establishments where he previously paid for sex. What does this have to do with politics? Sounds like a guy was just a pervert and mad at himself for being a pervert and started killing hookers. This has nothing to do. This has nothing to do with that. 26th of June, Winthrop, Massachusetts. Okay, let's check this out. Crash stolen truck into a building. Yeah, this sounds real politically fucking charged. Flying down the street. Boom, boom, boom. Ran, looked down for body in the street. How is this politically charged? What does this have to do with politics? And then the others are law enforcement. Well, I think we kind of already have heard those stories. Domestic violent extremist attacks. These are just people that went off the rails. These aren't political terrorists. Cookie wants to know how to support the stream. I would say the best way to support the stream would probably be going over to Rumble and clicking either the subscribe button, be a monthly subscriber, or become a Rumble Premium member by clicking the button below the video. Let's see. How about we stop importing foreign enemies in a spa? You want a happy ending? Mild does it blend? All about narrative. Yeah. Well, and again, see, but this is the thing, right? If the FBI includes the shit in these kind of reports, right? And the counterterrorism task forces, they include this stuff in their reports. Well, then what does it look like? Then they're able to use it in statistics. Then it looks like, racists and violence. And I mean, we heard the narratives under the Biden administration. White supremacist extremism is on the rise. Right-wing terrorism is the biggest threat it's ever been. Well, is this what you're calling right-wing extremist terrorism? Somebody shoots 8 hookers because he can't control his own penis. That's all of a sudden right-wing extremism. And this is a problem that we need to, we need the FBI to monitor all the Nazis, so to speak. All right. So there you have that. Again, shout out to Michael Schellenberger and Catherine Herridge and Alex Gutentag. Gutentag. Well, Gutentag to you, Alex. Okay. So last week we covered Jake Tapper. While we're on the subject of Biden cover-ups. Hey, Rusty River says, stab that like button. You finish it, Mild. I stole it from you. Yes, stab that like button like you asked, or like it asked you to move from its seat at a track meet. Stab that like button like it asked you to move from its seat at a track meet. There we go. Okay, so Megyn Kelly had Jake Tapper on. Cookie wants me to loan her $5 till next week. I mean, if you want to start a live stream after the show, you want to start a live stream over on YouTube, Cookie, I'll send you a $5 super chat. Okay, let's get into Megyn Kelly talking to Jake Tapper, because, one of the things when we were covering this last week is, Jake Tapper was trying to deflect and trying to say, well, we had no idea and blah, blah, blah. And of course, we played the clip showing that Jake Tapper was actually harassing other people. Well, Megyn Kelly finally got him to admit what was going on. Still Not Banned here says, thanks for the reminder. I usually do it right away, but did not today. I don't stab it. Oh, yeah. Stab it like an exposed breast. Oh, my. Oh, my. I hate to see what your bedroom's like, Fruck. Cookie says, I would deport 85% of black Americans, 60% of white women, and 30% of black men, and 15% of white men to Rwanda. We'll get on those white men here in a little bit, too. All right, so let's get into this Megyn Kelly clip.
But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again.
In fact, you were harassing people who came on your show who had concerns and tried to ridicule them and make them seem ridiculous.
Again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president.
I don't
You didn't seem
think
interested.
that's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you are
to watch somebody on stage search for
so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were
stuttering.
mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were.
And we're talking about Joe Biden stuttering and all this. Did he have cancer then? We'll get into the cancer stuff.
Mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel sorry for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were. I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
Okay, but when was this exactly? Right? When was this phone call? And did you apologize to the CNN viewer at that time? No, you waited until you were about to put out a book. You waited until it was financially expedient for you. You waited until you could build anticipation for a news story that would make you money on the back end in a book deal. Fuck you, Jake Tapper. And pretty much fuck CNN, right? We get to say fuck you to a lot of people on the show. Sorry, Cookie, I know you don't like me to cuss. Still Not Banned here. I think she was smart to leave mainstream media covering things in a more journalistic way. Cookie says her face looks plastic, but white men are soft. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Megyn Kelly. Fruck says they're all CIA trained actors anyway. Sanglet says it never happened. Changed my mind. I mean, I guess we'd have to hear Laura Trump's side of the story. And Still Not Banned here says yes, CIA mockingbirds. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. Anyone who's in mainstream media or has been in mainstream media, it's hard to trust any of them because the CIA does run so much of it. I guess we've got a follow-up thanks to Western Lensman on X for clipping this from the BBC. A little follow-up from Jake Tapper, calling for the government to mandate the president.
But to your point, this book goes beyond Joe Biden. There is a call in this country, in the United States, there is a need for legislation to mandate that American presidents provide all of their health information under threat of perjury. Because
okay, but
we can't be lied to about this.
You said it goes beyond Biden, so basically you're pointing the finger at Trump now. Because you're saying presidents. And my issue is, it's not just presidents. Right? What about senators? I mean, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we had a senator last year vote for a bill and die the same day.
Sort of thing. We can't have a group of unelected aides running the country if there's a 2 a.m. phone call. It needs to be the person that's elected. So this goes beyond
or using
Joe
an
Biden.
autopin.
It should be relevant to Donald Trump and whoever comes after Donald Trump. I agree with that 100%. But to your point.
Okay, we'll go ahead and hide that. I'm going to have to figure out a better thing for the stream sponsorship. The X's banner, or I'm sorry, not X's banner, but Rumble Studios banner covers my face up. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. You guys aren't here for me. You're here for my commentary over whatever else I'm showing on the screen. You're not here to see my ugly mug. All right, let's go back to the links here. All right, we're a little over an hour into the show. The Atlantic has their own take on it. And let's do this. Let's close this. Let's go to archive again, just in case, because the Atlantic is another one of those news outlets that they'll give you the story for free twice, and then you click it again. What? They'll give you the story for free twice, and then they'll show you. Okay. Okay, well, archive don't want to go to it. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Boom. The Atlantic wants to blame you. Oh, to read this story, start a free trial or subscribe today. Yeah, go away. Shit, I had it. Let's try archive one more time. Okay, here we go. It's working this time. Oh, dear Lord. This is taking a while here. But Washington is a buzz these days. The Atlantic has learned. I love it when Washington's a buzz. Let's jump right in. Why the buzzing? Because apparently Joe Biden is really old. Older than he was last summer. Washington was even more abuzz about the 46th president being really old and about whether he was fit to lead the country, run for re-election, beat Donald Trump, thwart fascism, etc. 3 years ago, when overwhelming majorities of Americans were already saying in polls that Biden should definitely not seek re-election, or 2 years ago when he declared that he would in fact seek re-election, Democrats anguished off the record, "You did not hear this from me." Boom. I mean, this right here. That little parentheses, that parenthetical, means everything you're saying is a bunch of bullshit. Wasn't a cover-up, it was an observable fact. And yet, all of our mainstream media, it's your fault, folks. It's your fault. They want you to know that it's your fault for believing their fucking lies. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. The Atlantic, the same news organization that was telling us, oh, this is all out in the open. Last night, Biden proved he's not at all the frail, rapidly dementing Ichabod of GOP caricature. In fact, he may be far better at this whole re-election thing than Democrats had suspected. This is March of last year. March of last year, after he was wandering off stage, after he was wandering away from the presidential helicopter, after he fell off his bike. Cookie's asking why I'm wearing red lipstick. It came off your mom. I don't know. Trump needs to be like Abe Lincoln or Andrew Jackson. And then she wants me to flush out my hair. I mean, got my hair here. All right. Well, that Atlantic article is apparently just not going to save to archive. So we'll just move along. But yeah. So that's our weekly look into why you don't hate journalists enough. Why you don't hate journalists enough is that. So while we're talking about Biden's age, there was big news about Joe Biden broke this week. And I'm sure a lot of you have already heard the news, but we'll go ahead and cover it. From the AP. Cookie says, we can't see you, Mild. Yeah, I already addressed that. It's more important for you to see that the stream has been sponsored by Great Liquor. And you too could have your name here. Just throw a super chat on YouTube or a Rumble rant or a donated membership. 100% correct, Fruck CIA assets. Yes, Rusty. Oh, Biden has been diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. Former President Joe Biden diagnosed with prostate cancer, his office said Sunday. The finding came after the 82-year-old reported urinary symptoms, which led doctors to discover a nodule on his prostate. Diagnosed with prostate cancer on Friday, with cancer cells having spread to the bone. Represents a more aggressive form of the disease. The cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options. Biden posted a photo of himself and his wife Jill and wrote, "Cancer touches us all. Like so many of you, Jill and I have learned that we are strongest in broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support." Prostate cancers are graded for aggressiveness using what's known as a Gleason score. They range from 6 to 10, with 8, 9, and 10 behaving more aggressively. Biden's office said his score was a 9, suggesting his cancer is among the most aggressive. When prostate cancer spreads to other parts of the body, it often spreads to the bones. Metastasized cancer is much harder to treat than localized cancer because it can be hard for drugs to reach all the tumors and completely root out the disease. However, when prostate cancers need hormones to grow, as in Biden's case, they can be susceptible to treatment that deprives the hormones. Outcomes have improved in recent decades, and patients can expect to live with metastatic prostate cancer for 4 or 5 years, said Matthew Smith of Massachusetts General Brigham Cancer Center. Cookie says the stream is sponsored by her. Well, throw some in the kitty. Unless I missed you throwing some in the kitty already. I guess it's possible. Rumble Studio is not always the best at showing donations. What the hell? How am I seeing Cookie's chats here? Oh, wait. Yeah, that's why. Okay. Duh. I know. She always accused me of censoring her, but no, it's always... Here, look. See this live chat? You click top chat and all of Cookie's messages go away. Then you go to live chat. She's back. Anyway, so let's go back to Joe Biden. Your moving thing on the bottom is cutting you out. We cannot see you. I know. It's more important for you to see that Great Liquor has sponsored the stream. Political leaders sent Biden wishes for recovery. Donald Trump says, "We wish Joe a fast and successful recovery." Biden's Vice President Kamala Harris said her family's hearts and prayers during this time, keeping him in her family's hearts and prayers during this time. Barack Obama, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't need to hear all the thoughts and prayers because I've got something to say. Oh, my. You want me to be empathetic toward Joe Biden. The mainstream media wants you to be empathetic toward Joe Biden. Rusty River says, who else is rolling cigarettes right now? I fucking wish. I'm vaping now. I'm not allowed to smoke. If I could find like a really good flavor of rolling tobacco, I might eventually do a roll your own if it's all natural. Cookie says no. Okay. Well, no to you too. All right, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Joe Biden. Joe Biden's cancer. Do you remember Joe Biden wishing us all a winter of death? Those who didn't get vaccinated. What was that? What was that quote? A winter of suffering and death, I think. Yeah. Of severe illness and death. Unvaccinated are looking at a winter of severe illness and death. Cookie's going to Rumble now. All right, come on over. The water's fine. We're still a few viewers short of an ad read. A dark winter. Yes, a dark winter. So between that and all of the liberal states and cities that just decided we couldn't go to our family's funerals or couldn't visit our dying loved ones in the hospital. My empathy for these people is really short. And I don't wish cancer on anyone. Let me throw that out there immediately. Let me give that disclaimer. I don't wish cancer on anyone, especially prostate cancer. I'm being continuously monitored for this same issue. I don't have cancer, but they say that I have some symptoms, that I have something that might eventually lead to this same sort of prostate situation that Biden has. And quite frankly, twice a year, seeing a urologist is kind of stressful. I've had a couple of biopsies. It's very stressful. I don't wish that on anyone, including Joe Biden. But if you want me to have empathy, when, again, you should, I mean, the White House should have known. They said he hadn't had an examination since 2014 or something like that. Yeah, saying like we're about to show that. In fact, where is that? Oh my God, I had that clip up. What the hell did I do with it? Here, let me do. I had that clip ready, and I don't know what I did with it. Maybe it's in my bookmarks. Fuck. The problem is my bookmarks are so out of whack. May 19th. Damn it. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Found it. Okay.
Highway that was accessible. My mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? It had to put on their windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
There you go. You heard it there. Thank you, InfoWars, for that. Why I and so many other people have cancer. That was in 2022. That was in 2022. But yeah, y'all want me to be empathetic toward Joe Biden when the same Democrats could not be empathetic for a little kid who had cancer during Trump's State of the Union / whatever that speech was really supposed to be called. All right, I think that's all of that. Hang on, there's one more thing I wanted to bring up with this. No, there isn't. Sorry. But remember, I guess there is. We'll continue going down this rabbit hole a little bit. Remember, the Biden administration was doing things like this. What the hell just happened? My computer just ejected a memory card on its own. Fair enough. Weird. State of the ass whooping, yeah. Cookie says, Mild, pull the hair up in a mock ponytail for a second. Are you racist? I'm in a ponytail. Look, it's a ponytail. Oh, my phone's ringing. Anyway, so remember, this is the administration that did this. This is who they want us to have empathy for.
Nothing like this has been attempted. And in fact, what we see in the previous 4 years was attempt at squashing and covering up anyone who dared to come up against the narratives that they were pushing. Senator Ron Johnson just had a hearing where he revealed the extraordinary evidence of myocarditis in young males, and that the administration and the FDA and the NIH knew about it and suppressed this information, leading God knows how many kids to serious illness and potentially death. Now we're talking about doing something. There were several interesting things in this report. One was, you mentioned the obesity and the chronic illness, 1,400% increase in medicine prescribing to young people, and yet they are sicker than ever. 1,400%. We expect solutions in a pill. They're not there. Solutions are in a spiritual growth, in our families, in attending to the mental health of these kids, giving them proper nutrition, limiting exposures.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop that right there. He's just going to go on a rant about how to be healthy. But yeah, Ron Johnson had a hearing where, myocarditis in young males, and the FDA and NIH knew about it and worked with Big Pharma to cover it up. And they want us to be empathetic for Joe Biden. Yeah, Rusty River says Dr. Drew oddly based. It's still not banned here. Says the more I see Dr. Drew, the more I like him. I just watched his show for the first time the other day. Cookie says natural remedies and start with castor oil. Okay. Holy crap, we just got an influx of viewers again. I'm going to use that to my advantage here, if you don't mind. And I'm going to do an ad read for 1775 coffee. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee. Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check. the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for a clean energy and laser focus. No crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom is not scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler that says, "I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch." $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee/studio. Grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel in a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. All right. Thank you to 1775 Coffee for that opportunity. Okay, we've got Serene Pickle. Cheers and welcome over there on Rumble. What do we got? Let's do a You're Goddamn Right.
You're goddamn right.
Cheers and welcome. You are goddamn right. All right. Oops. Wrong button. Live chat. I don't even know. That was just my my feed page on X. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Continuing with the trend. Just as I kind of gave a little update to my health, after Biden's announcement, we had yet another announcement from media figure and Dilbert creator Scott Adams gave an update on his health. Go ahead and listen to that a little bit.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you that the anti-vaxxers appear to be right. Somebody who did not get vaccinated, got a little Omicron, or maybe even a worse one, but recovered. Now you've got natural immunity, and you have no vaccination in you. Can we all agree that that was the winning path? The smartest, happiest people are the ones who didn't get the vaccination and are still alive. I want to make sure that I'm not leaving any wiggle room for myself.
Okay, so remember, Scott Adams was very aggressively pushing the vaccine. They're like, yeah, you got to do it. You got to be careful. You got to do it for your neighbors. You got to do it for your family. You got to do it for your kids. Cookie wants me to move on. She doesn't like the discussion about prostates here.
Have I? Have I said as clearly as possible they're the happy ones right now? And have a reason to be, completely. Right.
So the unvaccinated have a reason to be happy.
Having said as clearly as possible that the anti-vax people seem to be the winners, I want you to hear that clearly. The anti-vax people appear to be the winners. The anti-vaxxers clearly are the winners at this point, and I think it'll probably stay that way. And I don't want to put any shade on that whatsoever. They came out the best. They have the winning position. The unvaccinated have a current advantage because they feel better. The thing they're not worrying about is what I have to worry about, which is, I wonder if that vaccination 5 years from now, because really the anti-vaxxers, I think, were really just distrustful of big companies and big government. That's never wrong. It's never wrong to distrust government.
Just like
it's never wrong to.
Just like I started off the evening talking about Boeing and the DOJ making this agreement. Yeah, I'm a little distrustful of Boeing just being let off the hook.
Distrust big companies, right? So if you just took the position, let's just distrust everything the government did, well, you won. You won. You won completely. I did not end up in the right place. Agree? You would all agree with that, right? I did not end up in the right place. The right place would be natural immunity, no vaccination. You should take victory, and I should take defeat. We can agree on that, right? that my position is now the weakest, and your position has gone from the weakest to the strongest, and that we can just say that's true. The people who didn't get vaxxed are absolutely in the winning position. You win. You win.
Okay, so there's that. So Scott Adams basically revealed that he also has an aggressive form of cancer. He recently released an update to the story saying he's under some new treatments and his odds of survival has went up to 30%. That wasn't the clip I thought it was. I can't find the old clip now. I had it saved and then unsaved it, and now it's gone. Gone to the ether of X. He in the first video, he said he wasn't going to live the month, like he might not last the summer or something like that. And then, oh, here it is. I found it. So here we go. This is what I meant to show you. Here you go.
So I also have prostate cancer that has also spread to my bones. So my life expectancy is maybe the summer. I expect to be checking out from this domain sometime this summer. So in theory, if I didn't do anything, and it's sort of incurable, so there's not much you can do, I would be dead pretty soon. However, I have decided on a path of treatment that I'm not going to tell you about. So I won't tell you what I'm doing, but I'll tell you that my odds of survival.
He did say it's not ivermectin.
Just because I've picked a path that most of you have never heard of. But it's with top doctors. It's not something I'm making up. It's not some little thing I'm doing on my own. It's with top doctors in the field who know a lot about this. And it looks like my odds of survival may have jumped from 0 to something closer to 30%. Which means don't do my funeral yet.
Okay, there you go. Don't do his funeral yet. And like I said, since then he's given other updates saying, he's in good spirits, and Donald Trump has called him and had a good conversation with him apparently. So, again, prayers go out to Scott Adams. Scott Adams and I have disagreed on quite a few points over the years. But again, I don't wish cancer on anyone, and especially what I've went through in just trying to detect prostate cancer, and I've been super lucky not to have to not to deal with the bad news as of yet. I can only imagine that treatment, especially the kind of treatments that Scott's talking about in that clip, got to be scary, and his prognosis, got to be even scarier. It's hard to admit that you have an expiration date. Okay, while we're on the topic of health, let's get into Bobby Kennedy testifying in front of Congress yet again. It seems like he's doing it every week now. This is from American Values PAC. Did a whole thread of these short clips, and we'll just play a few of them here. Cookie's crying now. Yeah. Rusty River says, why wouldn't you share that with the rest of the world? Sanglin says, if you're going to have cancer, try to keep it on the skin or a large cell lymphoma. I mean, no, just don't. Yeah, still not being here says he's in her prayers too. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what you got to do. Anyway, so here's a little 5-second clip from Bobby Kennedy pointing his finger at Congress here.
Our people are now the sickest people in the world. Seriously. Because you have not done your job. Our people.
Okay, so we've got that. And then, so that was part of this longer hearing. Oh, we covered this last week. Never mind. I'm just going to skip this Bobby Kennedy. This is exactly what we covered last week. I don't know why it's been reposted. I thought this was a new hearing. Okay, we'll skip it. We'll skip it. Anyway, that was an interesting clip, pointing it at Congress people and telling them it's their fault. Speaking of Congress, we've got information on money spent by the Department of Energy in November and December of 2024. Are you ready to hear this number? Prepare yourself for this number.
Mr. Secretary, I want to go back to some of your earlier testimony, be sure I heard it correctly. The 76-day period you're talking about, that's the period between the time that President Trump was elected and President Biden left office. Is that right?
That is correct.
And during that short period of time, 76 days, how much taxpayer money went out the door of the Department of Energy?
From the loan program office in loans and commitments, $93 billion. Well over twice as much as in the previous 15 years.
Over
so how do you
the same amount from the previous 15 years
and do due diligence on a loan in 76 days? One loan.
Okay, this is an 8-minute clip. We're not going to watch the whole thing.
$93 billion.
I'm going to need to step away for just a moment, so I'm going to give you the...
How do you do it?
I think it's probably pretty clear it wasn't done in many cases. As I mentioned, I'm told I'm holding back clearly in place stuff. There is lots of funds that have gone out the door and commitments that were made from businesses that provided no business plan, no numbers about their own financial solvency or how this project.
So you're telling
work.
Me that the Department of Energy, in the 76-day period before their boss was going to leave office, gave or loaned money to entities that had no business plan?
Correct.
No financials?
Correct. A number of those were were before the 76-day period as well. I've come in with great concern about how this institution, this great American institution, has been run and how American taxpayer money has been handled. I'm sorry everyone's upset that we're taking some time to do it, but what we've seen, and what the record shows,
I'm
is
not
just
upset. Could it be that a lot of people say you haven't returned your calls?
Uh-oh.
Could it be that you and your colleagues have returned the calls, but the people calling just didn't like the answer? Could that be a possibility?
I'm not aware of that. You know, I give my cell phone number to any senator that wants it, and I return my calls.
I mean, has your department gone?
You gotta love Senator Kennedy. He takes them to task. But yeah, you know, you got the Department of Energy just throwing government money hand over fist out the door before Trump could take office, and we've heard reports that some of that was happening with USAID, but the government loan program office of the Department of Energy, just no credentials, no financial reports, just here, have a bunch of money, $93 billion just pumped through the Department of Energy. Here, have government subsidies, take all our money, all the money. All right. Let's see, what else do we have on the docket here? Oh, yeah, I meant to bring, okay, yeah, this is it right here. So let's shift gears. When we're talking about government money, and now I heard there was, I should have brought this damn story up. Aid funding, or sorry. Where is it? Fuck it, we'll use Yahoo. I hate using Yahoo, but we'll use Yahoo. It's the first thing that came up. FEMA has denied the North Carolina appeal for Hurricane Helene recovery match. FEMA will not reverse its decision to deny matching 100% of the state of North Carolina's expenditures for Hurricane Helene recovery. Fruck says there's a reason they call it the swamp. Yeah, well, here you go. In a letter to Governor Stein dated May 22nd, FEMA's acting administrator David Richardson said, "This is in response to your April 25th appeal of the denial of your request for an extension to cost share waiver under major disaster FEMA 4827DR that was declared on September 28th due to Tropical Storm Helene. You specifically requested an extension of the 100% federal cost share for debris removal and emergency protective measures, including direct federal assistance for an additional 180 days. After a careful and thorough review of all information available, including that contained in your initial request for a cost share adjustment and appeal, we have concluded that an extension of the federal cost share for debris removal and emergency protective measures, including direct federal assistance for an additional 180 days, is not warranted." So there you have it. You have North Carolina being denied extra federal government money. Now, having said that, I want you to keep that in mind because natural disasters don't stop. We will always have natural disasters. As we had last weekend in St. Louis, Missouri. Here's some folks at a construction site.
Oh my God! We're in a tornado! We're literally in a tornado, dude. Oh, dude, it just crushed the crane truck. Oh my God. Dude.
Well, I lay down like
Zach and I saw that start. Dude, this whole place is. It might flip the truck. Oh! Holy.
I got out the machine.
Your machine's. See? Holy.
I don't know if anyone out there in the audience operates heavy machinery for a living, but you know, I've done quite a bit of that at my job. I work in infrastructure, so Cookie says, of course, white boy's right in the middle of a tornado, shaking her head. And I'm going to just say, there are lots of clips of the St. Louis tornado showing various amounts of destruction, showing various victims of the tornado crying or having lost things. And we'll get into why I specifically picked this one to show you here.
Dude, we were literally just saying it's rotating.
Oh my God.
Holy dude. Oh my God.
Okay, so there we go. So let's get back into Cookie's comment here. Why did I show you that one video? Why were white boys... Put your hair up. My hair is up, yo. What the hell, Cookie? Of course, white boys right in the middle of a tornado. Why were these white boys in the middle of a tornado? Why wouldn't they flee the construction site? Why wouldn't they ditch the construction site? Why wouldn't they get the hell out of Dodge? There were reports that there were little old ladies setting up a concert who were pinned between walls. Why didn't they get the hell out of Dodge? Oh, because the emergency sirens never went off in St. Louis. That's right. All this government swamp stuff we've been talking about. Sangla says never drive into water. Yeah, do not. Do not. You don't know if there could be a sinkhole under that shit. You don't know. Just don't do it. But yeah, the sirens never went off. let's get into this news report. This video here.
Kara Spencer officially puts the city's emergency management commissioner on paid leave.
This after tornado sirens did not
leave.
go off before
Paid leave. You get paid leave. People are dying. You get paid leave.
last week's deadly tornado in the city. Fox News' Chris Renier is in North St. Louis this morning with the latest developments. Chris.
Ty and Margie, good morning to you, both of you. Mayor Spencer making that announcement late last night. We are on Enright this morning near Del Mar and North Kings Highway. Mayor Spencer set to speak at Firehouse 28 right behind us here a little bit later this morning on this issue. There is major damage all around this area from the tornado, including here.
I'm going to be just a few miles from there tomorrow.
Right next to this fire station. We can show you video of the city's emergency management commissioner, Sarah Russell, from a recent news conference.
Oh, wait a minute. This is the individual. Take a good look, folks. This is the individual. Whose job was literally to just push a button that would have saved lives. Just poke the button. Poke the button. All you can see is my finger, but poke the button. That's literally all you had to do. You had one job. Saying that says, where's the puppet master?
Mayor Spencer taking the action against Russell pending the outcome of an investigation into the actions of Russell's office last Friday, the day of that tornado. Part of that investigation is the failure of those sirens to sound. The mayor's office revealing that the SEMA staff, including Russell, were not in the SEMA office last Friday, despite the anticipated storms. Instead, they were at a workshop at another
band here says, look at the people behind. Hang on, I got to go back to that. Oh, yeah, that's almost as bad. Look at this guy. This guy's definitely... Oh, okay, here, let me go. Let me move your comment from the screen. Yeah, look at this guy back here. He definitely looks like one of the type. We'll watch this video later of Adam Carolla talking about men, and yeah, keep this guy in mind when we get to the Adam Carolla video later. Frux says, "What does that thing speak?" Yes, from what I understand, from what somebody said on X, that this person does have they them. Does identify as a they them. So yeah. All right. So
the actions of those sirens to sound. The mayor's office revealing that the SEMA staff, including Russell, were not in the SEMA office last Friday.
Oh, emergency management staff were not in their office during a tornado.
Despite the anticipated storms, instead, they were at a workshop at another downtown building. As a result, Russell and her staff could not activate the sirens themselves. Rather, Russell had to contact the fire department. Spencer says there was a communication breakdown at that point, and the directive to activate the sirens was ambiguous in the mayor's words.
Ambiguous. So, hey, fire department, can you activate our emergency sirens for me? We're busy. What do you do? Oh, okay, Sanglant sending me Puppet Master 2 here. Is this the they them in the middle? Is that what you're getting at? All right, let's get back to the video.
Spencer also revealing that during a test of the sirens yesterday, it was determined that the button to sound the sirens at the fire department is not working. Repairs on
the fire department's siren button didn't work. Awesome.
That are already underway. Spencer's office releasing audio from the call between Russell and a fire department dispatcher.
Isn't this shit supposed to be tested every first Wednesday of the month? Like this is literally a routine. Test the shit every first Wednesday of the month. Ridiculous.
You got the tornado warning. I think that it said it goes till 2:35. Okay. The one that we just got is 17. It says 15:15. But if you said up till 3:45, maybe I got the numbers backwards. Yeah, 315. 315, got it. Okay, you got the siren. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my.
Ultimately, though, those sirens
Yes,
did
ma'am.
not
Got the
sound.
sirens.
Spencer saying in a statement, SEMA exists in large part to alert the public to dangers caused by severe weather, and the office failed to do that in the most horrific and deadly storm our city has seen in my lifetime. The mayor going on to say, Commissioner Russell has served our city for years and is a person of goodwill, but I cannot move on from this without providing accountability and ensuring that our emergency management is in trusted hands.
But it's
Spencer
okay.
says Captain
They them
John
will still
Watt
have a paycheck.
from the city fire department will now run SEMA until a permanent commissioner is found. For now, live in North City, Chris.
Okay. So thank you to Fox 2, St. Louis. All right. Rusty River says white women have been whitewashed and brainwashed. Yeah. Should have Cook says she's about to snooze on Rusty's micropene. All right. Okay, let's go to this. So there we go. That's an emergency management area. Okay, we're going to get into the race war news now. One of the things I've been kind of pointing out to people over and over again is that it seems like every day there's a new racial psyop. And we had 2 good racial psyops this week. And I'm going to kind of get into one of them here. Now, Cookie's probably not going to like this. We're going to get into sports just a little bit in this racial psyop because one of the things I have not really been covering on my show is the popularity of Caitlin Clark and the racial narratives thereof. I've touched on it once or twice on the show, but I haven't really, I don't care about the WNBA. And most people I know, don't care about the WNBA. But I keep seeing this in my feed this week because it keeps coming back up because apparently everybody wants to have a race war and every little thing that might involve a racial difference must become part of the race war. And so now I have to talk about women's fucking basketball. So there was this incident with the Indiana Fever and the Chicago, what were they called? I don't even know. There was this incident in the Indiana versus Chicago game last week where a player was fouled. And we're gonna see that here. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Let's watch this. So this red jersey woman with the white woman. Okay, I guess there's a white woman over here too, but this white woman here is about to foul. Is about to commit a foul.
Strong on a 3. And look out.
Oh, so did you see that? Just blatantly aggressive. Let's see that again.
Strong on a 3. And look out. Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up.
Okay, and then Angel Reese gets up, just shaking her head, getting aggressive back. Cookie, I think this clip that we're about to play can kind of. Oh no, Singlet he sits at that's Kurt. Oh man. Oh no. Singlet, save this comment. Save this comment about 2 or 3 more videos from now. Retype this comment here in a couple of videos from now. Okay, so you saw that. You saw Caitlin Clark just blatantly fouling Angel Reese. So these are sort of the top 2 discussed superstars of the WNBA right now. Everyone knew this would be a rough rivalry kind of game. And again, I know nothing about women's basketball, but I do know at least that much because yes, these two players' names are just in everyone's mouth. Now, here's what's hard to see from that previous clip. Now, here's a zoomed in version of what occurred right before that shot was taken. Still not banned here. You save that. Save that. Hang on. Just save the comments about women's basketball for just a moment. Save the comments about the capabilities of these women for just a minute. Right now we're focusing on the aggression. Okay, so let's look at this zoomed in version of the clip and watch Angel Reese, the chick in white, not the white chick, but the chick in white and then with a white uniform here. Watch her hands very closely. Watch this. Did you see that? Did you catch that? And now you see Caitlin Clark, the white chick, pointing. Hey, did you see what she just did to her? And then so she gets the rebound. And then Caitlin Clark pushes her down. It was a retaliatory foul. She fouled her first, got the rebound, and then got pushed for it. Oh. Let's see. Where was my... There it is. Okay. So this has started the internet discussing this yet again, because they've done it like 5 or 6 times now, this rivalry between these two women. So that was last week. The video you just saw was last week. Here's that same basketball player we just saw, the one that was wearing the red or the white uniform, the young lady in the white uniform who fouled someone and then got fouled back herself. This is her facing another team this week. And so, cue up the comments now, still not banned here, and Sangland. Cue up the comments about the capability of women's basketball players here. So this is the same woman getting a rebound, because that's what she's known for. She's known for the rebounds. So watch the rebounds here. She's under the bucket down there.
The bench.
She got the rebound.
Also with the miss, Angel Reese
Shoots.
picks it up.
Oh,
she's good
nope.
at getting another offensive
Got the
rebound.
rebound.
She says,
She
"Give me
shoots.
that."
Oh, nope,
How about another?
nope.
Persistence
Layup.
trying
Nope,
to pay
nope.
off. Jones gets a piece.
Got the
Angel
rebound.
Reese
Nope,
won't give
nope.
up. Jones
Stuff.
with another block. The bench.
There you go. There you go.
Cardoso with the miss. Angel Reese picks it up.
Just
She's good at
amazing
getting
skills.
another offensive rebound. She says, "Give me that."
Oh man,
How about
just
another?
poof,
Persistence
poof.
trying
Oh,
to pay
stuff.
off. Jones gets a piece.
This
Angel
tall
Reese
chick
won't
is-
give up. Jones with another block. The bench.
I gotta know who that Jones is. New York Liberty Jones. She's a tall bitch, or tall woman. I guess I shouldn't call everybody a bitch. Bahamian basketball player. Okay. Jonquel Jones. Okay. Born in the Bahamas. Big lady. Big lady. All right. Go ahead and bring that down. So, like I said, they keep bringing up this feud, right? The media keeps poking at this feud. And one of the things I like to say, especially about sports media, is for fucking soap operas. It's like live streamers who want to discuss reality TV and soap operas. That's what sports media is like. A lot of it has no basis in reality. A lot of it's supposed to be bad takes. To get you to drive engagement online. And so a lot of times you'll have these sports media figures. Now, there was another little feud that erupted out of this feud between a couple members of the media. One of those people is former NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III. And this is why I want to bring this up, because again, this is now part of the race war. This whole feud between these two basketball women. Well, now we have to have a whole discussion about race. And now, like, you'll see. I'm not even going to comment on this. You'll see. I'm going to bring up the video. And before we even get started, I want to ask you if you see anything wrong with this picture. Does anyone see anything wrong with this picture? Okay, let's hit play and let's hear what Robert Griffin has to say about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament.
I think we covered this
WNBA
at the time.
viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call
herself the villain? Okay, so we're going to stop that right there. Okay, first off, yeah, we covered some of that at the time. And since then, Angel Reese has like called herself like the one, right? Like just kind of ignoring Caitlin Clark or any of the other women of the NBA contributing to the whole narrative. And so obviously, if you didn't see that video, there was another human being in that video that we just watched. There was another human being sitting behind Robert Griffin. Did you guys notice that? I'm not going to bring it back up. But there was another human being in the shot. Well, this garnered the attention of ESPN's Ryan Clark on one of his other podcasts. I don't think this is an ESPN show. I think this is another podcast. Ryan Clark. Now, I've talked about Ryan Clark a few times, and in fact, I misattributed one of Ryan Clark's takes about a month ago during the NFL draft. I was saying that people were saying Shadur Sanders issues were a racism issue, and I attributed it to Stephen A. Smith. No, it was Ryan Clark who was making it a race issue. Because again, that's his role. His role at ESPN is to bring up all the racism issues in sports. And so let's go to Ryan Clark and hear what Ryan Clark had to say about Robert Griffin's take on women's basketball. And again, I know a lot of you folks aren't into sports. I'm not showing this for the sports. I'm showing this because this has been brought to our attention as important to the race war, and we'll get into that here after these clips.
To what black women deal with a lot from black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over black women by denigrating black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypes to what black.
Okay. So did you hear him get into this?
Black women deal with a lot from black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race.
That quote right there. So he says, I don't see why we have to pit these two against each other. Well, Angel Reese does that herself. She literally, she does that herself. This isn't a media created rivalry. This was a rivalry created by one of these women. And of course, Robert Griffin responded to the claims about, racial favoritism there. Now notice the other person's not behind him anymore, but let's hear what he has to say.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy RG3, and I just wanted to get on here and talk to you
His
guys.
mic is quiet.
Because there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of conversations about my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, which was purely based in basketball. But I think all of you know there's a line in life that you just simply don't cross. Wives and children are always off limits. And Ryan Clark has sprinted past that line. Ryan Clark didn't like my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And that's fine. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sports media, I'm going to have an opinion. This person might not agree with it. That person might not agree with it. But what you don't do is turn around and personally attack me and my family just because you don't agree with a sports opinion that is purely based off the sport. I didn't make it personal. But what that really shows is just how low of a person Ryan Clark is. But Ryan, you crossed the line, man. You made it personal and some.
Hey, Fruck, yes, the 19th Amendment. Cookie and Rusty Rivers here don't feel like women belong in the voting booth. Yeah.
I really believe there should be no space.
So they're hating on him because he married a white woman. Now, you the viewer, you can feel however you want about such things, about interracial relationships. But these are men in mainstream media, right? Ryan Clark has a platform on ESPN. And yet, having this commentary that black men who marry white women should never have an opinion about a black woman. Pretty wrong. Pretty wrong. Ryan Clark, I guess, apologized for making it about his wife and said, no, what I meant to do was be more positive about black women than be negative about his family. Ryan Clark, dude, you're a race baiter. You're a race baiter. You're a clown. And I've given you way more attention than you deserve on this show and on previous shows. Frux says women should rule the world. What the hell? Do you want another nuclear war, my sir? Singlet says it does get a little cramped in there. What? Cookie wants a few males to help me. Help me with what? Oh, and Frux says I could get away with a lot more. What are you trying to get away with? I mean, we already have women voting and the Department of Energy giving away billions of dollars. Anyway, so yeah, the Caitlin Clark stuff, the Angel Reese stuff is not the only racially charged event that happened this week. And we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot. I'm sure you folks have already seen all the hubbub. You've seen it on every other live stream, and I'm going to have to address it here as well. The White House, there was a meeting earlier this week between Donald Trump and the South African president. Shit, I had his name right here. Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa. And I'm going to be jumping around a little bit on it. We're not going to play the whole thing. The whole thing's 15 minutes long.
At this time, what would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him.
Okay, so first off, we're going into this. We're going into this hot, right? We're going into this with two very masculine world leaders, right? And one saying, I'm going to speak for him. You're going to what? You're going to speak for me? That's like me and my coworker going out for lunch and be like, "Oh, I'm going to order for you, dude." No, you're not. I have my own voice. I can speak with my own opinion. I can give you what I want. I don't need you to give my take for me. And Trump, being the gentleman he is, takes it in stride and says, "Okay, I'll let you do that."
No, seriously. I'd rather have him answer. Yeah,
I'd rather have him answer.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me,
in his house too.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends.
Wait, what? Wait, let's listen to that little thing again.
It
will take President Trump listening
to the voices
of
South Africans,
South Africans. Some are his
good friends.
Okay. You know he's talking about Elon Musk, right? Got to be talking about Elon Musk, right? Well, you know Elon Musk was in the room while all this was happening. Elon Musk was in the room while this was going down. And this was the look on Elon Musk's face. Staring daggers right through the soul of Cyril Ramaphosa. This man is not happy with the leader of his former country. The idea that Elon Musk is just going to tell Donald Trump anything favorable about this man and his country. Look at the anger. Like, I don't, like, even like, it's not that angry, but it's still angrier than I've ever seen Elon Musk in clips. Like, even when he's shit talking people, he kind of has a I don't give a fuck look on his face. He never has this kind of a look. Cookie says, we know we want to watch. Okay, well, I'm providing some context. Let's keep going.
We have talks between us on around a quiet table. It will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things.
Here we go. I'm going to show you.
I have to. It has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
We have. Let me see the articles, please. If
I have
would.
to.
And
He's like, oh, sure.
Excuse me. Turn the lights down.
Turn the lights down.
Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you.
Look at the look on his face. Like, what am I looking at?
This parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. You can do whatever you want to do.
Okay, now I saw this other video that's like, watch this, see this doorway here? Watch it just like disappear behind this painting or mirror or whatever.
You to tell us whether we can occupy land or not. We are going to occupy land. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
Somebody was making a big deal about that, like, you wouldn't have, secret chambers and stuff in the Oval Office. Come on now.
Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of the Revolutionary Act.
Killing is part of the Revolutionary Act. Now we're going to skip forward a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to get into this part right here.
These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers.
Okay, now Trump misspoke, obviously. Obviously, anyone with any common sense knows that there aren't literally bodies buried along the highway. These are obviously memorial crosses. But you know what? Our mainstream media is going fucking nuts over this. They're saying, oh, yeah, Trump lied. Trump lied. Well, okay. Whatever happened to steel manning people's arguments? Every time Joe Biden had one of these misspeaks and we called him out, Snopes would come out with a fact check. CNN would come out with a fact check that was all like, oh, well, you know what he meant. Well, you know what Trump means here. It may not be a burial site, but each of those crosses represents a dead body. Right? It's almost the same thing. Like there's not a dead body under the cross, but there's a dead body attached to that cross.
And those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross. And there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving. They're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it.
Okay, we're gonna skip forward a little bit more. Okay, here. Look at his face. It's like, what the hell?
Those people are all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen.
I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. Now, there are also people on Twitter, leftists on Twitter, who are saying that a lot of these news stories and videos have come from the Congo and not South America. So I did want to throw that out there. But no, those crosses are definitely I said South America. South Africa, excuse me. South Africa. Mild YouTube is blocking stuff for men. YouTube channel Legion of Men. Rusty loved me. Now we're not friends. Oh, yeah. Cookie, I guess we ain't our friends. You're saying some rude stuff. Good luck in your ventures. Well, Sangot says supposedly there's one of those chambers that go into the DC tunnels. Well, I'm sure. Which DC tunnels? You talking about the Pentagon tunnels, or you talking about the ones that connect synagogues? Anyway. All right. Not sure how much of this I really want to keep playing. Got a little bit of time left. Let's do Scott Jennings' take on the media's response to this. So, yeah, they're also debating on whether or not they should use the word genocide when describing what's happening to South Africans. And so here's Scott Jennings' take on it.
Whether you call it a genocide or not, the facts are white farmers in South Africa have been murdered. A lot of people have tried to cover this up. A lot of people in, I think, media in the United States have tried to cover it up. Obviously, the South African government doesn't want to talk about it, so it was kind of a boss move for Donald Trump to roll that television in there today. And I think even the agriculture minister in the Oval Office confirmed that these people are, in fact, being murdered. So my question is, if it's not a genocide today, how many do we want to let get murdered so that people around here can be satisfied? Okay, now it's a genocide. Let's let a few more. I don't understand. We're talking about 50-something people they were trying to let in, and everybody's losing their mind after we let in 20 million illegal immigrants over the last several years. The president is trying to prevent genocide from happening any further to these people. They are clearly being discriminated against. Some have been murdered. This was an interesting spectacle in the Oval Office today, but it had to happen because I don't think anybody was telling the truth about it. Whether you call it a genocide.
There you go. I mean, Scott Jennings going off because, people getting really, really picky about words now, huh? Really picky about words all of a sudden. People getting really freaking picky about words. When we know they haven't been picky about words in the past. And again, don't communicate with any of these people. Don't harass any of these people. But I wanted to bring this tweet up. I always give that disclaimer when I bring up tweets, because I don't know whether or not they want the promotion or not. But this is Wesley Yang on X saying, "Oh, look, these are the things that have been called genocide in recent years. An elevated rate of death and disease at Canadian schools for Native children, where some of the children were converted to Catholicism. I remember that being called a genocide. Higher murder rates for Native women in Canada. I remember that being called genocide. Efforts to prevent the chemical castration and sterilization of confused children caught up in the transgender social contagion. Yeah, that's called genocide every day. Keeping women's sports and changing rooms for women and misgendering. Yeah. A lot of those things been called genocide lately. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. There's a genocide every day. Every day to these people. But the one time you point out people actually being racially singled out and murdered, that's not genocide at all. Not genocide at all. And of course, the Trump derangement. We'll get into our weekly Trump derangement here. We're going to shift gears and try to get a little bit more lighthearted as we wind down for the last 30 minutes here. Let's do this. Like it last 35 minutes. Let's go see what John Leguizamo thinks of Trump nowadays, because we always need a good celebrity hot take every once in a while. Let's hear him.
7, study the collapse and the comeback. You should be learning from South Korea and how they managed their brief rule under dictatorship. They didn't waste time chasing the one man with absolute immunity. They went after the structure, the aides, the enforcers, the loyalists, the architects. They knocked out the foundation one pillar at a time until a strong man had no one left to stand on, and his power crumbled beneath him. You should be independently investigating every author of Project 2025, every aide
Oh,
who
really?
defies court orders, every communications director repeating lies, every policy writer enabling cruelty,
Oh,
every
really?
water boy who keeps this engine running. You can't stop a regime by asking the king to sit down. You dismantle the throne he's standing on, one coward at a time. Stop being scared. 7, study.
Okay. So he's definitely got a point there. He's definitely got a point there. But what the fuck are you gonna do? You're gonna have like random people just rounding up people from the Heritage Foundation? Is this what we're doing? Like that's what you're advocating here? Declaring war on the Heritage Foundation? Washed up actors versus the Heritage Foundation. Let's get it on Creator Clash, why don't we? Get it on Creator Clash. Heritage Foundation versus washed up actors.
Do it.
Yeah, let's do that. All right.
Gay.
Okay, one more clip here. Let's go to the Adam Carolla thing I teased a couple times. And let's hear what Adam Carolla thinks about masculinity. Masculinity when sitting. Masculinity when sitting. So let's do this. Adam Carolla.
All progressive guys cross their legs like women. What they do, literally, it's a sign.
I have noticed this myself. This is why I'm playing this, because I have totally noticed this. And I'm like, what the hell? I think I've called it out on this show before with some of these international summits and shit where all these world leaders are sitting there with their crotches all fucking bound up.
I cross my legs. As I cross my leg, it'll hike up my top leg, pant leg.
Now, you remember the guy that was behind at the press conference with the giant lady from the St. Louis Emergency Management? Remember I pointed out the guy behind her and I said, remember him? Yeah, or remember him as he's saying this. Think about that guy and the way he sits.
My top leg, pant leg, it'll expose my colorful sock. Mm-hmm. And then you'll know where I'm at. By the way, you can watch them all. Watch Gavin Newsom. Watch them all. Watch them how they cross their legs, and then watch how Trump crosses his legs. Mm-hmm. He doesn't cross legs. He holds his legs wide open.
He puts a diamond in front of his testicles.
Right.
He sits like this every time.
So there's Trump with the diamond. His diamond, which accentuates his nutsack. And then you have Justin Trudeau signaling, I have no balls. I have no balls. I will sit in this position for 4 hours, cut off the circulation of my nutsack because I do not have balls, but I have colorful socks, so you know where I'm at. Ladies, gay community, you know where I stand. Look at my socks and watch me cross my legs like a chick. All progressive guys.
I just had to do that. I had to do that. You know.
Gay.
Anyway, so yes, gentlemen, be careful how you're crossing your legs. Be real damn careful. You don't want to wind up like these politicians. Give them the Trump diamond. Give them the diamond cutter right there on the package. Draw the attention. Draw Cookie's eyes. Right there. All right. Still not banned here, said the smoke light. That was me. I have to admit, that was me. Besides, yeah, John Leguizamo is not African American, but you know, whether he's smart enough to know how to manage his smoke detector batteries, not sure. All right, let's get into Love Don't Judge here. Let me bring that back down for a second. A little preview there. Sorry. JD is always balls out. Rusty Rivers says, saying, I'm looking forward to the day one of them throws their balls at someone. Shit. Okay, so for those of you who might be new here, every week we do, toward the end of the show, we do a segment called Love Does Admonish, where we go to this YouTube channel that they call Love Don't Judge. It's a pretty popular YouTube channel where they analyze unique relationships that just have a little different aspect to them. And we like to determine, what about this relationship deserves our attention and why. Because you're telling us you have all these haters on the internet, and every single one of these talk about all the haters they have on the internet or all the haters they have in real life. But it's not like you think. Like, we're just in love with each other and it's all about love. So you shouldn't judge us. And so we here at Mild's Culture Plate, we like to watch these and determine whether or not they're bullshitting us. And oh my God, my camera again. Thank you, Rumble Studio. Still not being here says this is a 3-hour special. Thanks. Well, it might be. What? Okay, my camera came back. At first it went over to the Twitch virtual cam, but now it's back. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, usually there are context clues in their story that's like, yeah, the story might not add up exactly like we thought it might. And so we like to point that out. Anyway, so let's get into this. I paid $20,000 for a wife, but she's not my slave. Love Don't Judge. All right, so shout out to Love Don't Judge over on YouTube. Go check them out. And we'll hear from Stephanie here.
I'm Stephanie.
My name's Evan. I found Stephanie on a Filipino dating app.
Filipino dating app.
The cooking, cleaning, washing.
Cooking, cleaning, and Washington. Okay, so Cookie, didn't you mention something about men who get their wives from overseas or whatever? Cookie says, I can't even order Chinese food here. The Asian men want to flirt with me. Well, there you go. Tell them they can spend $20,000 for a wife on the internet here.
Comments that we get online are kind of like this.
Did you pay for this one? Bro imported a slave.
I did have concerns.
Bro imported a slave.
Why did you feel the need to get married so fast?
Well, so that she could get her green card. Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I'm Evan, and this is my wife, Stephanie.
See, Pennsylvania. Now, if the guy from Butler would have just got him a Filipino wife instead of getting a gun, then Donald Trump's ear wouldn't have been shot, and there would have been a lot of different things here. Anyway, so what do you guys think of Evan here? He's kind of talks with a little bit of a lisp, kind of has a little soft air to him, right? Mary Milku Luppel. What? I don't even know those words. I'm too old for whatever Sanglant's on right now. Rusty River says, Cookie and I were going to be on here, but now she dumped me. Yeah, Cookie, you could be on Love Don't Judge if you just hook up with Rusty.
People judge my relationship because I'm from the Philippines and my husband spent $20,000 to bring me here in the United States.
To bring you here.
Downloading all
So
of
you spent
the American
$20,000
dating
to
app.
bring her here. You didn't spend $20,000 to purchase her. See, it's already a ripoff. See, Love Don't Judge. You tease us with this shit sometimes.
I actually matched with a girl from the Philippines who had changed her location to America. I decided to download a Filipino dating app just to see what's out there. And right away,
Bro heard about the passport bros and thought he'd try to become one. And then, yeah, look at this. This is catfishing 101. This is definitely a pose, right? We just saw her. She did not look like this.
I matched with Stephanie after 3.5 weeks of talking.
Look at it. Look at the face there. Look at her face. Look at her face there. And now let's go back. Shit. I was trying to go back one frame. Fuck it.
Getting to know the most beautiful and funny girl, I decided to book my flight to go see her.
The moment he landed.
Like, I'm not saying she's ugly, but there's a little fugliness. Like, she looks nothing like that dating photo.
In the Philippines, he asked me to be, your girlfriend, and yeah, we became official.
Flying to the Philippines is not cheap. It's about $2,000 round trip. I'd say I spend about $5,000 each trip. So about $15,000 for the 3 trips.
$15,000 for 3 trips.
I do all the cooking,
But that was you
cleaning,
flying to her.
washing, but it's just normal household chores.
Stephanie is a great cook. I'm very lucky.
Uh-oh. Ladies, pay attention. Ladies, pay attention. And yes, still not been here. 3.5 weeks of talking. That is quick. But, when it's worth it, it's worth it. Oh, shit. Do not play on stream. But it's a YouTube clip. Why shouldn't I play it on stream? Tell me why I shouldn't play that on stream, Sanglant. Because I still got quite a bit of time to fill, and this is only 8 minutes worth of show here.
And she cooks everything. When people say Stephanie's my maid, I don't take it personal because I know that
Asian spies, Cookie, come on. No, it just a lot of American women don't cook like you do, Cookie. And you see this guy, like the first thing he says is, look how good she cooks. She cooks for me. She makes my life easier.
we are both happy and we have a good thing going between the two of us.
When I got here, for sure, I was like,
are those waffles?
The house is pretty big.
Those are waffles. Those are some big waffles.
I'm going to be cleaning.
They don't have much color to them. Like, does she really just slightly crisp them up? She probably used too much milk and not enough of whatever this squeezy butter shit is. Not enough color to those waffles.
The whole house. I've never used this appliances that you have.
First time with a dishwasher.
She's weed trimming.
The dryer.
She's fucking weed trimming.
Vacuum.
Oh my God, fellas. Way back in the early days of my channel, one of the first things I said was the lawnmower test. I did a whole show on the lawnmower test. Where you fellas go ask your wife, like just call her up one day on the weekend, be like, hey, I got stuck in traffic. Hey, can you run the lawnmower for me real quick? And just see if she's willing to learn. Just see if she's willing to try. Don't let your wife mow the lawn. Don't mistake me. Like, don't let her do it. But just see if she's interested. See if she's willing to try. See if she's willing to lend a helping hand, or at least try to understand the mechanics of the machine. This chick's out there weed trimming. Look at that shit. I got to play that again.
Dishwasher,
the dryer,
washer and
the
dryer.
vacuum. In the Philippines.
Oh shit, I missed it.
I've never.
There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Woman with a weed trimmer. That's amazing.
So this appliances that you have.
First time with a dishwasher.
A wife with a weed trimmer.
The dryer,
Washer and
the
dryer.
vacuum. In the Philippines, we make fire manually, and then we wash by hands. We have to fetch water, and we have to pump the water and put it in our bathroom.
Love,
Fetch the water to put it in our bathroom.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Today we are meeting up with my mom, Susan, to hear a little bit more about her
You're gonna
thoughts
play tennis
on
with
our
Mom.
relationship. I know she tried to portray that she was super supportive.
Yes.
And being there for us.
That's why I said don't
but
let
I do believe privately she had some apprehension, some concerns.
When Evan met Stephanie, it's quite a distance away.
Sanglant, yes, you bring up a good point, but let me counter that also by saying, even that wouldn't matter as much. But when they when they go out there and they run over the sticks and the rocks, oh my God, just don't let it happen.
Way to have a long distance relationship with someone. So I wasn't quite sure how that was all going to work itself out. The whole visa process, I knew that coming here, it would really be a fresh start for her. And I was concerned about, well, what's the next step once she gets here?
So when I first told you about Stephanie, did you have any concerns?
I did have concerns, especially the first visit. You were going very far away. You're the foreigner, and you look like a foreigner. And you're going to a country to meet a woman that you...
And of course, Tim Pool and Salty Cracker both went live, so I lost half my viewers instantly.
don't know that well in my eyes. So yeah, I didn't know what you were going to get yourself into. Why did you feel the need to get married so fast?
Things did move quick.
Right.
And that's part of the process. All these photos here.
Too obedient for Rusty. He likes the fire. Oh. I would tend to agree. I wouldn't mind obedient as long as I knew it was genuine. My problem is I never trust that it's genuine or that it's going to last, because what's going to happen is women like this, they spend a lot of time in the United States. They start watching American media. They start seeing women in the community acting like trollops, and yeah, then they want to act more Americanized.
Our photos of us in America. Some of these big photos
He
here
took her to a Phillies game.
Elopement, our like secret little wedding we had. During our first visit, we talked about filing the fiancé visa and moving to the U.S. So part of the process, we have 90 days to get married from her arrival into the U.S. We did a secret elopement, the two of us.
Secret elopement.
June. And then just this past
Look
Sunday,
at that rock.
We
You think that's real?
a wedding with my family.
This is my elopement dress.
And I want to know, are you including the cost of this wedding and the elopement in your $20,000 bullshit up there?
So cutesy. Mom and I went to the local bridal shop and then we picked this. And this one is pretty classy.
I thought you looked beautiful. We're looking to get a third pretty soon when we set up our big, more traditional wedding in the Philippines.
My reservations went away very quickly. Something that I have to tell you that I haven't told you before. When you got off the plane and you were waiting for him and you saw him, you were just so excited. I was in tears and it was just so genuine. And that really kind of locked it in, knowing how...
Because, you know, mothers want their son to be taken care of. They want to see someone excited to see their boy.
Much you care.
That was like the most amazing feeling, like being welcomed off the plane to you with all this energy.
I know you're both on social media. I am a little curious, like, what do other people say?
So we'll be filming our TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Oh no, you let her on TikTok.
All of our content.
The comments that we get online are kind of like, you could not find someone in US. She gonna milk your money dry, boy.
I mean, okay, what's your point? Like you think about those two comments in context to one another. You couldn't find a woman in the US. Okay, who gives a fuck? Like, again, don't get me wrong. Love you American women, and I love an American woman who's right now upstairs making my dinner. But yeah, who gives a shit? Like most, you know, older American women, they're already damaged. They're already damaged by the time you get to marriage age, right? A lot of these culturally social media, like this chick's on TikTok, big red flag. Anyway. And then the other comment, she's going to milk your money dry, as if an American woman wouldn't. I mean, there's lots I can hate on these people for, but those two comments, that's not it.
Did you pay for this one? Bro imported a slave. He found a housekeeper and maid.
Imagine wanting to become a slave.
This is the result of colonization.
Gold
Result
digger.
of colonization.
You probably get more comments that say.
See, now here's, again, this is one of my big issues with Love Don't Judge. They don't often go into how they make their money. I want to know how bro has made his money. Like he's spending $5,000 a pop on trips to the Philippines. He bought that rock. He paid for this wedding. And, you know, it looks like she's a stay-at-home wife. Like, so you make enough money to feed two people, have a big enough place for the two of you. Cookie says that these are Asian spies. Hey, we got the Craig Allen over on Rumble stopping by to say hello. Cheers and welcome, my friend. Good seeing you. Toast right back at you. Well, let's find another sound effect if we can. If there's a good sound effect here. I'm running out of sound effects. Let's get us some Kamala Harris with "Do Not Come" here.
Do not come.
I do want you to come though. Stay coming by, Craig Allen. Just don't come for Kamala
Do not
Harris.
come.
Yeah, don't come for Kamala Harris. All right. Cheers. Okay, let's get back into this dude and his wife.
I'm punching up, so she's too beautiful for me.
Too
but then
beautiful.
also sometimes we'll get other comments.
Fellas,
from
don't ever
maybe
believe that.
Filipinos that will say, "Why do all the foreigners like the exotic girls?"
In the Philippines, I did not reach the standard beauty that, everyone wants.
I guess in the Philippines, lighter skin is preferred. So sometimes she'll get comments about her darker skin as though it's a bad thing, and her
my
flat
nose.
nose, which I think is so cute.
But you should have chosen a prettier one, dude. Sometimes it makes me sad, of course.
Oh,
but
man.
It's social media.
Oh,
it's
what
like
a
open
roast.
for
What
people
a
to judge
roast.
us.
We brush off most of the hate comments and try not to reply to too many, but any type of interaction helps us go viral. So
Should have picked a
we
prettier
don't
one.
mind it.
1,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. 7, 8. 8. Sometimes we play.
Look, you could say anything about both of them. Like, he's definitely a little geeky, talks with a lisp. He's not the perfect dude, but like I said, he seems to have his shit together. Like, anyone who can afford to keep up a place like this, feed 2 people, and drop $5,000 trips to the Philippines, I can't hate on a guy. Like, he's holding down his own, keeping his life together. And as far as she's concerned, like, yeah, she's not a fucking supermodel, but what do you expect? I mean, they're 2 average, normal fucking people.
Play into a bit of our hate comments of she's only with me for money, or she's gonna take all my money and then leave me. Sometimes we
you do
play
have to
into
worry
it a
about
little
that. Oh,
bit
look at her.
and
Look
get
at her. Oh no.
interaction
oh, no.
that way.
Oh no. See, now the her carrying in giant stacks of Amazon packages. Yeah, that's a red flag, but
There's a misconception that everyone
Yellow
from all
flag.
over the world wants to come to America, and in reality, that's not always the case.
I always wanted to work abroad, but never United States. It's never on my list. I told Evan before, like, if only he can just move to the Philippines with me, I would love that. But he's too young.
bring your money
move.
to my poor country.
Of course, I miss the Philippines. I always miss the Philippines.
I had a couple friends and family members tell me, like, "Oh, you're a good catch in America. Why are you going to the Philippines?" Friends question if she was in this relationship for love or if it's just for a green card. She had a few friends that were a little skeptical.
Okay, but see, now I'm not concerned about the green card. It's like, it's literally, she found a provider who makes a decent chunk of money, and like, that money can buy a hell of a lot in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Like, y'all could be rich in the Philippines for what you've paid for probably your apartment and a couple trips there.
If I was real, she had some family members that thought maybe I was too young, even though, I'm 4.5 years older.
I just wanted to tell you,
Too
Evan,
young.
how happy I am with your choice. And
Wait, do we got child bride shit going on in the Philippines? If he's 4 years older than her, how is he too young for her? What the hell's going on over in the Philippines?
Stephanie, I think you're really good for Evan.
Let's play tennis. Stephanie has made me a much better person in a lot of ways. She's gotten me out of my shell. Usually I'm introverted and she's the extrovert, but she's helped me, be more social and enjoy life.
More social
Evan
with
changed
who?
my life
With
in
who?
a lot of ways also. I mean, aside from him bringing me here, that really changed my whole life. I feel more confident with myself because even if I look so
What the
bad
hell?
waking up, you're just, oh, you're so beautiful.
Wait, give that shy, nerdy boy a chance. He wants nothing but to love you and treat you right. Aw. I mean, again, check out the friend zone. Might be surprised.
For people that judge us, we just say stay tuned.
All right, look. Like I said, you gotta be careful. There are 3 huge red flags with this relationship for me. And the first off being we knew each other 2.5 weeks and then started spending money. Yeah, that's real red flag territory. 2, you brought her here and then immediately started putting her in places like TikTok, started putting her on the internet, started Americanizing her in several ways. And then 3, like when she says she misses the Philippines, on the one hand, that's a good sign because, like I said, that may mean she doesn't necessarily want or desire the green card, so to speak. But it also means that, you know, what it means, you get married for good times and bad. But what happens when times get bad, especially for an Americanized woman? Women start seeing the grass being greener on the other side, so to speak. They start looking for a way out and to take as much as they can on the way out. So that's the scary part for me is as she becomes Americanized, she starts realizing that, oh, hey, we got Cool Frog in the chat. Cheers and welcome to Cool Frog over there. Check out Cool Frog's channel. Check out Cool Frog's channel. Man, I've run out of sound effects. We'll do Corn Pop.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Oh, shit. And we have another stream sponsor. Cool Frog says, come join us when you are done. I will have some dinner, and then I have to pack for my trip. I may try to pop on for like 20, 30 minutes, but I can't spend a whole lot of time on Cool Frog's channel. But yeah, Cool Frog, Friday nights over on Cool Frog's channel. Go follow him. He has a Friday night, get together. I forget what he calls it, open line or something, open chat, something like that. I forget what you call it. Let's see, where's my donations thing here? Let's add you to the stream sponsors. Cool Frog. Okay, now I got to click OK. There it is. Great Liquor and Cool Frog, stream sponsors today. Oh yeah, Great Liquor put the link in the chat to the Friday night open mic. That's it, open mic. I don't know why I kept saying open lines. So yes, check out Cool Frog. Let's see, is Third Railify live? I raided Third Railify last week. Maybe I should just raid. I think I'll just raid. I think I might just raid Cool Frog. Oh, he's live right now. Hey, and Craig Allen's over there too. All right, that's what I'll do. I will raid Cool Frog when this stream is done here in just a few minutes. And yeah, like I said, I may go eat dinner and I may pop on with Cool Frog for a little bit for his open mic stream, as I tend to do most of the time on Friday. There's about half the time. Anyway, I was in the middle of a thought when I saw the money pop up. Shit. I was in the middle of a thought. It was Cookie says she's not added. Oh, did you send me a donation earlier, Cookie? Let me go back over to YouTube. I don't see a donation. I don't see a super chat. Hang on. That may have expired. That may be my problem. YouTube. Let me check this out. Damn it. Where do I find that? I'm not on YouTube as often as I'm on Rumble. But I will, Cookie, if I missed one of your YouTubes, what I will do, or if I missed one of your YouTube super chats, what I will do is I will put you down as a sponsor next week. I will find the information. I will put you down as a sponsor next week for the whole show. If I missed one of your donations, I am so sorry if I did. I will hunt for that information, and we will correct that. We will get that corrected. Okay, but I was just saying, yeah. You got to be careful in those situations because those women will leave you and take what they can, and if they think your wealth can be extracted and then taken back to the Philippines, like I said, that chick could be real rich when she gets back there. So, but for now it's love. For now it seems love. It seems happy. I'm not going to judge it, but I do think the comments are funny. But it's reasons like that. It's definitely reasons like that we here at Mild's Culture Plate like to use the slogan "Outlast Haters." We like to use the "Outlast Haters" slogan because that's all it takes. It just takes being happy longer than the aggressive people can hate on you. Rusty River says, good show, Mild. Cookie will figure it out. Good night, chat. Good night, Great Liquor. Still not banned here. Craig Allen, Cool Frog, Zangland, Fruck, and everyone else who has stopped by. Let me take just a few minutes just to ask everyone to click that thumb. Stab that thumb. Stab that like button like it asked you to leave from its seat at a track meet. And please, if you're new here, click that follow button. The follow button. Sangland says, thankfully, Hitchcock plots are rare in real life. I think you mean Hitchcock. Yeah, Hitchcock plots are rare in real life. Yeah, don't get stabbed. If you're new here, please click that follow button. Also, if you're new here, please jump back. Just find a random video from my history and just watch a second video. It really helps with the algorithm to know that new viewers liked the content they watched so much that they went and tried to find more of it. That stuff actually helps on these algorithms quite a bit. Feel free to share me around. Share me around like you're Diddy and I'm Cassie. Just feel free to share me. All that good stuff. Let's see. And then, yes, everyone who's been in the chat, cheers again to all of you. Anyone watching on demand, anyone lurking, anyone that's just listening audio only who haven't had a chance to jump in and say hi, cheers to you as well. Appreciate you also. And if you're watching this later on demand, leave a comment. Leave a comment down below. I'll try to either click the heart button or respond in some way, shape, or form. What else did we have? Let's see. I should be back Sunday night again to watch some sort of documentary or something. We'll have some sort of content. We'll have a 3-hour party Sunday night like we do twice a month. Every other Sunday, we do the Rumble Premium stream. So you'll have to be a Rumble Premium subscriber. If you're not a Rumble Premium subscriber yet, you can do so by clicking the button under this video over on Rumble. If you're not on Rumble, there should be a link to Rumble down in the description over on YouTube. I don't think anybody's watching on X, but if you are, hey, you can find it in my bio. There we go. So I think we've covered all the bases on how to get everyone to be a Rumble Premium subscriber. And if you're a Rumble Premium subscriber, we do the party every other Sunday. And of course, same bat time, same bat channel every Friday night, 6 to 9 p.m. Central. That's 7 o'clock Eastern, right here, Mild's Culture Plate, same bat time, same bat channel. And then Mondays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. Central, 6 Eastern, we do gaming. I've been doing Baldur's Gate. I've been getting my ass kicked at Baldur's Gate. I'm a noob. I don't know what I'm doing, but I play Baldur's Gate on my gaming channel. Links down in the description on Rumble there. We did it, folks. We have reached the 9 o'clock p.m. Central hour. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, folks. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub it in real good. Have a good time over on Cool Frog's channel. I'll see y'all next week. If I can make it back from St. Louis. Wish me luck. Peace.